excited that you tuned in for a time of refreshing with Miss Aaliyah Butler. Is your show. She's an author, motivator, inspirational speaker who's on fire to inspire the whole world. She's a girl. On fire to inspire. On fire to inspire. On fire to inspire. She's on fire. On fire to inspire. On fire to inspire. On fire to inspire. Inspiration, motivation, encouragement, empowerment. You need inspiration, a little bit of motivation, encouragement, as well as thank you for tuning in to the show. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you to the sponsors of the show. Thank you. Thank you.
Welcome, welcome, welcome to On Fire to Inspire. I am your host of The Other Purpose Midwife. I want to thank you so much for joining us this beautiful, beautiful Tuesday evening. You could have been doing anything else, but you chose to spend it with us. And for that, we are totally thankful and grateful. Y'all, I tell you, I'm excited about tonight's topic because lately we've been having women and we've been talking about everything from, we're hearing from women's perspective or women's point of view. Well, tonight we're going to be talking from a man and hearing from a man's point of view and how it affects them as well. But before we hop in, I want to thank our sponsors. So thank you so much to uebdesigns.com for all of our beautiful pieces that you have for us, as well as your accessorizing and what is that? The dressing and fitting and all of that good stuff. So their tagline is "Let us accessorize you," because accessorizing is our favorite part of the outfit. So you can visit them at uebdesigns.com. Thank you again, uebdesigns.com. We also have Leadership Inside Trajectory. It is a powerful, powerful leadership tool. If you are a leader of any capacity, you want to get this book, and you can get it from iworkfaith.com. It is by Ricky D. Surratt. He is my big brother and pastor. You want to also take a look at, he teaches leadership classes. He has the Preachers Institute, and you can get him to come speak and teach on leadership. He is a John Maxwell certified speaker. All right, and then we have the Brown Group, of Better Homes, Metro Home and Gardens, Better Homes and Gardens Brokers of Atlanta. And they are the top selling husband and wife team. Y'all, when I tell you, Cornelia and Bernard are so awesome. They have over 40 years of combined experience in the real estate market. So if you need anything from selling, purchasing, investing, they can take great care of you. So let them know you heard it right here. They'll take great care of you. And you can call them at 404-843-2500. Again, that's the Brown team of Metro Brokers, Better Home and Garden of Atlanta. And that is 404-843-2500. Now, all my women out here, mombizboss.org. If you have not already join those ladies, mombiz, B-I-Z, boss.org. If you're an entrepreneur or an aspiring entrepreneur and you're a mom, multiple operational manager, you want to be a part of these ladies so that you can glean from them. You may be able to find some collaborations, but great opportunities with that organization. And there is a cruise coming up as well. I want to say it's in October. I got to get the information from them again. But I want to say this in October, so y'all look for that information. But mombizboss.org, I'm sure it's on the website. And then, but finally, if you don't have any of my books, you definitely want to grab one, right? You have the children's book, which was my very first. This is my second child, Precious the Panda, and it teaches foundational English and Spanish. Then we have the second book. I'm doing them in the order that I did them, y'all. On Fire to Inspire, which first came out as a book before it came out as a show. And then we had the two ebooks in between there. Those are the 21-day mind detox and prayers, affirmations, and declarations, which prayers, affirmations, and declarations came first. And then we have the I Am affirmations coloring book. I use this tool for women and teen girls, reminding them of who they are. So if they say I am in front of a page, I am complete, I am fearless. And then in the back of the book, they have the complete affirmation written out with a scripture to solidify, to confirm, and remind them that's who God has called them to be, not about what others have said. What did God say about you? And so if you need any of our books, all of them are on Amazon. In fact, the coloring book is actually out on Walmart.com, Target.com, Barnes and Nobles, all of those places. But there was almost one I almost forgot about, y'all. If you're on Facebook, go look up Come Dance with Mena. Come Dance with Mena, Mena. We do Zumba on Mondays and Thursdays at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It is in person and virtual. And when I tell y'all, we have had a great, great time. We did a reel, y'all. Get this. We did a reel about a month ago for a line dance party. We have one once a month. The line dance party was a fundraiser for our pastor to go to. He was going to Africa. He's going to Zambia and Johannesburg. And so we did all the proceeds for that to just let him, allow him to be able to travel with. And y'all, when I tell you, we put a reel up. That reel hit 100,000 views last night. So thank y'all so much for the views. Thank y'all for the views and the love. We're like, oh my goodness. So y'all go check out Come Dance with Mena. And she'll be posting. We just did another reel on Monday. But we're in our next line dance class is coming up on June 22nd. And in honor of Father's Day and appreciating fathers and men this month, the price is normally $10 per person. But for the men will actually be getting in for free. So y'all come and do some line dances, get some exercise, get that cardio going, right? That will be at Innovation Point at 345 East Floyd Baker Boulevard in Gaffney, South Carolina, 29340. I think it's 4041. But without further ado, we're going to move right on into our special guest, Mr. Douglas M. Reed. We're so excited. He is a mental health advocate, has been in this field for many years, and this is his heart. So we're going to bring him on and let's chat with him. So welcome to On Fire to Inspire. How are you doing, my brother?
I'm doing great. Let's go. I'm trying to see if I can come down to South Carolina and get some line dancing in with Mena.
I tell you, we love it. We have a good time. But when we had that reel hit 100,000 last night, we were like, "What just happened?"
Congratulations! Yeah.
Thank you. So again, welcome to the platform. I want you to introduce yourself to the On Fire to Inspire family, because we have people on Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube.
Okay. Well, as you said, my name is Douglas Reed. I am a mental health advocate, veterans advocate, advocate around prison reform. I'm retired out of the Federal Bureau of Prisons after 23 years out of the military. That's active and reserve after 22 years. So now I'm just out here trying to empower men to make a difference in our community. Like you, only thing I push is positivity. The Lord is my foundation. And I have a podcast called the Let's Go Show podcast on all podcast streams and on YouTube. And basically that's what the name of the show is called. Let's Go. And that's all I do.
I love it. So what days are they air? What days do your podcast air?
They air on Wednesday on all podcast streams, and then Friday on YouTube. You can catch them on YouTube.
All right. Well, I have to follow you out there. And don't forget to follow me out there as well.
Absolutely.
All right. So the topic itself, I love to ask people to tell me who they are, number one. And then number two, tell me what the topic means to you, because that's a loaded question when it's something that's near and dear to your heart.
Yeah. You talking about in reference to what, mental health?
The mental health and wellness. What does the topic itself mean to you?
Well, it means a lot. One, I'm also the former director of partnerships for an organization called Black Men Heal, which gives free therapy to Black men. I actually went through the therapy itself. So the mental health, but one of the things I learned in going through the therapy, and there was always something else. Like we can't always bring people to therapy. So what was another driving force? If I don't go to therapy, then what else can I do? So we talk about mental health, we talk about wellness. One of the things I speak about, and it's real simple, it's called the 8 dimensions of wellness. So when you talk about wellness, you talk about a quality of life. So
Okay.
when you talk about the quality of life, you talk about those 8 dimensions, and we can get them to them. You can ask questions about them, but that's the part, because when you combine that together, because I talk about so many aspects of wellness, and it affects how we think, it affects our emotions. So when I think about that, it's about, I'm going to say it's all about that fullness of God. That just came to my mind, but it's all about us being well and making sure we take care of ourselves.
Absolutely, positively. All right, so I'm also a scribe, so I'm typing as you're talking. So so tell us about these eight um wellness. What did you say? I'm sorry, eight.
Yeah, they're called the 8 dimensions of wellness.
Eight.
I'm military, so I came up with an acronym for it, how I remember it. And it's
Okay,
FPOSSIEE. And that's the best way to remember it. So when you think about the F, you think about your finances. And we
okay.
already know if our finances ain't straight, if we in that debt,
Mm-mm.
now we,
Mm-mm.
so I mean, do I stop there? Because I got some more, but we already know if our finances are not in order, the
Mhm.
amount of stress that brings upon us.
Right. Hmm.
So that's the first one. So now we talk about our physical. Physical is kind of, you can almost imagine, everybody's, every year, around the beginning of the year, we make this thing that, hey, we're going to go to the gym, we're going to start working out. You know,
Right.
do we stay consistent with that? You know what I mean? A lot of times we don't, but that's the physical part. That's just making
Mhm.
sure you stay in shape. So then we talk about the occupational. I told you I'm retired. I don't think there's a better job out there than retirement. I'm just putting it out there. Lee, I'm just putting it out there. There's
Okay.
not there's not a better, I have not had so much more happiness than being retired. But with the occupational it is where you work.
Okay.
If I worked, I told you working in prison for 25 years. That was not the most healthy environment. That was not a place that I look forward to going to each and every day. So if
Right.
if you're working and you're not happy, that plays a part on your wellness,
Hmm.
on your mind, mentally. Then we talk about the spiritual part. Now for me, there's a lot of denominations in faith. So the best way that I put it, my father's, I believe in Jesus Christ. I'm a Christian. But the thing that I tell, especially men, I said through this process, for us to get over any hurdles, we have to have a spiritual foundation. I mean, point blank.
Mm-hmm.
Now, there's got to be a spiritual foundation,
Hmm.
So that's that. And then the other part is social. What are we doing now? We talk about social. Now we were in COVID. That's a whole nother element. We were stuck in the house. We couldn't go anywhere. We had to wear masks. But the social part. Now we talk about we coming out of the house, but now social media has actually gone to a whole nother level. When you talk about YouTube, we talk about Facebook, we talk about Twitter, and then how you interact on social media as well. We talked about it earlier about the things that I follow, the people that I follow are all about the positivity. Yeah, there's things that go on around us, but we cannot consume our whole day, our whole hours in that negativity because that wears us out,
Yes, tell the truth. Tell
So,
the truth.
and then, I mean, you have the next is our intellect. I mean, what
Okay.
more can I say than, go out and buy go out and buy the children's book that you just had up for your kids. Go buy the coloring book that you just displayed for the women and the young girls. But it's our intellect. We have to keep our minds going, whether we listen to audio books, whether we taking classes, so we have to keep our intellect going. We always got to be feeding our brain. And then we talk about the environment. You know, I know down in South Carolina that all them woods and all that natural grass and all that land down there is beautiful. When you think about the environment, even in presidential campaigns, you talking about hear people talk about going green. I mean, all those things. So we're talking about our environment. But the most important thing I get out of the environment is taking that time out to take a walk in the park. Take that time out. Go outside and breathe in fresh air. Watch the sunrise come up. Watch the sunrise go down. That's our environment. So then the last thing we talk about emotional. That's how we think. One thing we talk about the mental health, we talk about emotions. I have to admit, Leah, men don't like to show our emotions.
That's so true.
We don't like to show our emotions. And I think that's what you want to dig into because, when we start showing our emotions, that's when men, we clam up. We don't want to talk about it. We're protected. We don't want to be looked at less than. So that's it. That's the 8 dimensions of wellness. Those are the things, even for me, each and every day. They don't have to be balanced, but you have to be a foundation in those areas. And if you think about it, it really makes sense. It really makes a lot of sense.
Now, what is your take on as a black man?
Hmm.
Okay, what is your take on um the black men and mental health? Because men are told you're a man, suck it up. You're not supposed to cry. Shake it off. What's your take on that? Because that's what's told so much in our community with the black man.
Once again, I guess is a judge out there, and I have to raise my hand and say, Your Honor, I'm gonna tell the truth and nothing but the truth. You know, because I was that man. I was that man that actually, didn't want to show the emotions that, when things happen, I was just supposed to, they say, no, you got to deal with it, shake it off. You'll be all right. Same thing I told my sons, like, you got to be a man. You got to be firm. You can't, don't let anybody see you weak. But what happens is we end up bottling up a lot of emotions. There's no vulnerability. And it could be, what I discovered working with men, a lot of our traumas or things that happen or triggers, they happen when we were little boys. So we're actually dealing with them. We haven't never having the opportunity to actually express ourselves because we're too busy trying to be tough.
That's powerful right there.
Yeah.
Too busy trying to be tough. Mm, wow. Too busy trying to be tough. So now no one's getting help or healed because they're too busy trying to be tough. And then to go into along with you come out of a military background and a prison system, working there all of those years. That's a double everything's whoo.
You already know. So there's no way that I should be showing any kind of, tears or considered weakness. And and even how I really got into mental health advocate and even got a demand for me to go out and speak because people have seen me on panels or whatever express tears. And I expressed those tears a lot of times. It was one for being grateful, because of being on that platform, or it was the simple fact that, what came back to memory was that pain, but yet what came back to memory is how God got me out of that. You know what I mean? So, when you start thinking about those things, now you're able to move forward. You can't bottle that stuff up. I can, one of the things I can tell you right now, my father was shot and killed when I was 4 years old.
Oh,
Even now, but because we're not talking about it at the dinner table.
right.
Nobody's saying, "Yo, do you remember what happened?" Or even ask, like, Well, we talk about therapy being a buzzword now.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
There was no therapy to send little Doug because his father got killed. And then
Mm-hmm.
you learn later exactly what happened. So the thing that happened was him and his buddy were the same age. They were in a bar. I'm 6'3". My father about 6'3", husky, built, hard, tough. And they they was discussing who was the oldest. My father won the bet. His buddy didn't like it. Pulled out a gun, shot him in the head. So I carried that. Not only did I carry, back in the day when we was coming up, they'd be like, oh, your mama looked like this, your daddy looked like this. You know how we used to joke. So when people used to talk about my father, I used to get highly upset and wanting to fight, and nobody knew. So I carried that. And I'm gonna give you this example. When I joined Black Man Healed, that's probably what, 3-4 years ago. I'm 59 right now.
Mm-hmm.
So I carried that for all those years bottled up. So everything that's going on in life, on top of everything that's going on in life, I'm still holding that as well. So I never expressed myself. But when I had opportunity to talk to that therapist and bring up all those things,
Mm-hmm.
like we talk about it, I released it. Yeah,
Yes.
I'm gonna tell you, it was like me being at, how you go to the altar,
Mm-hmm.
I released that thing, but I released it with somebody that was qualified to talk about
Mm-hmm.
it, was qualified to tell me, and don't get me wrong, nothing against the church, but a lot of times when we're in churches and you have that, everybody's not qualified to handle that kind of traumatic event or be able to take care and say the right words to get you through a process to bring you out.
I agree. I agree. And you said something, you said a couple of things, but I could tell, you were talking about the years of suppression. You had to suppress that because nobody wanted to talk about it. It was the elephant in the room. How does this baby feel that his dad is no longer here? You know, and then you also talked about what's called ACE, adverse child experiences. And so that impacted the adverse child experience. And thank God you were not on the other end of the law because it could have been the other way. But by
Yeah.
God's grace, you
And
know?
and I'll be honest, all those years, those teenage years, I had thoughts like, I want to know when that guy gets out. I'm gonna have to be honest.
Mhm.
That was my thoughts, and I can only imagine your listeners, and we all have lost somebody, or we could talk gun violence all day long, but
Mhm.
you carry a certain rage and anger, and we don't know how to deal with that. So we it's the get back, it's the payback, So
Mhm.
I dealt with it, but I was able to release it, and that's the difference, as we talk about mental health and getting through a process.
I love that. Now, for the man that's listening tonight, and he was like, you know what, the man, you talking to me. I'm ready to move forward and getting me some help, but I don't know where to start. What would you say to that person that says, you hit it when you said, I felt like I released all of that? Because a
Mhm.
lot of people are carrying all this unnecessary weight. All they got to do is go let it go to
Mhm.
the proper people who can help them do it. What would be your suggestion to that gentleman from another man that did it? How would you tell this man to go for
Well, one is because it's a process,
it?
and one thing that we got to have as men, and we do have it, we have accountability partners. But when we had those accountability partners, are we really able to really express our thoughts? So when you have accountability, you're expressing your thoughts and you're talking about your need. You're talking about, how we talk about our need, like, let's say John, like John, I'm dealing with this, man. I'm, I heard about this thing as far as therapy, but I don't know. You need that accountability partner to say, yeah, I heard your story over and over again, brother.
Mm-hmm.
You need help.
Mm-hmm.
Because one of the biggest steps a man can make. Now you're talking about courage. The biggest step a man can make is to seek therapy and go get it.
Mm-hmm.
That's the biggest step that they can make. So I definitely encourage them to have accountability partner, be able to talk things out. Think about the levels of what you're dealing with. You're able to express it, but then take your time. Like I told you, Black Man Heal, I was the director of partnerships. They give free therapy, but now the way therapy is going, and it's everywhere. And I say everywhere because now it's giving therapists, especially Black therapists, opportunity to be entrepreneurs, to start to run their businesses. So you're able to find one, and you go out, you find one, and you gotta, when you find it, you treat it like somebody's treating you, like you go to the hospital, you go to a doctor. Like, you may not be satisfied the first, therapist that you go to. That doesn't mean you stop. You really got to take your time. You got to think about what you're trying to get over, but you got to understand it's definitely a process.
I love it. Um, would you say, as a veteran, that it's encouraged from that standpoint for you all to seek mental health? Because so many people they've seen so much in those tours. And to be able to come back to a life of reality. I remember working with a gentleman when I was in my 20s, and he had just come back from, I don't know if it was Iraq or Afghanistan, and
Mhm.
we were on the 10th floor, and there was a loud noise, and it was like he literally hit the floor. And so, is it encouraged for men who have been in the military or been on different tours? Is it encouraged to go and seek therapy, or how does that work from that standpoint as well?
Well, I'll tell you once again from experience. I suffer from PTSD. I'm 100% disabled, um, and especially I'll say my era, but I'll say, okay, let's look at it. I'm a soldier. I'm a soldier, which means we talk about that tough standard. Now I've seen some things and I want to express it, but I'm not going to express it because I'm tough. Now, the VA has come a long way, and to be honest, and it's proven, the VA has actually discriminated against blacks when it talks about veterans' disability. So now that we're talking about it, it's encouraged. But once again, you got to take the first step, get up enough courage to go, because what happens is, you know, the VA has not been a trusted space.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? So now when we talk about it, you get a man to talk about it. Now, is he going to get the adequate care? Is he going to get somebody that cares about it? And no, the VA has not had a very good track record, not only for African Americans, but for any veteran. And now we talk about even, those veterans coming back. One thing that I learned about a man, even as he grows, he matures. A lot of time we talk about women need the attention. You'd be surprised, men need attention. Well, because sometimes we can be babies, right? But you think about the respect, you think about the acceptance, you think about the acknowledgement, you think about the recognition. Men need that. So now when you come back from those tours, and now everybody says thank you for your service. They didn't always say that.
Right.
That wasn't always said. And then I even think about my Vietnam veterans, like back in the day, like they were not welcome back when they came, and they were treated real bad. And even now with these guys that's coming back from Iraq or the Gulf Wars, it's still a process. When you come back into the community, because a lot of times people, just out of just wanting to know, who you shot, who'd you kill. Those things are not easy to talk about. When I was in Frankfurt, Germany, and it took me a while, same thing. I'll go back. When I was in Frankfurt, Germany, me and my ex-wife were on our way to what they call the shop at the store. And I had I'm overseas and I got the big car, the BMW, you know how we keep our cars clean. And I said, no, I want to go to the car wash. So we had actually had a argument. And I gave in to the argument. I said, okay, we'll go to the store. We'll go to the shop at November 22nd, 1985. And when we got in that shop at, I hear a loud noise go out, like a tank So the loudest noise you can think of, a bomb had went off in that car wash. I think 22 people were injured in that car wash.
Wow.
So things like that, and I carried that for a lot of years, you know, because there's a lot that transpired, the reaction, you know, well, including myself, but you talking about people that were there were scared to death. We had just had the bombings in Berlin. I remember just getting ready, getting off work from the military, getting ready to get into the car, and you're saying a prayer, Lord, I don't want this car to blow up, because there was a lot of bombings back then. So yeah, I just tell people, it means a lot giving a man free space to talk, because once you give it to us, we can talk now. But but you gotta give him that opportunity, whether it's agencies or wherever, the opportunity to really express his true feelings, and it takes a lot to pull that out.
I agree. I agree. So, Doug, you said that your podcast is called Let's Go.
Real simple, the Let's Go show, baby. you
What
know,
kind of things do y'all talk about on the Let's Go show?
you know what? I've been fortunate to be in a couple different platforms. One of the, my highest, I'll say level. I was working with Charlemagne, a guy with the Mental Wealth Expo up in New York City. I've been on some panels, with Lamont Rucker and Jay Barnett, who's a very well-known therapist. But what I talk about, I may have some celebrities or I may have some everyday people. So the thing is, I want people to talk about those things that motivate them. But when we do that, just like we talk about a man and him, or anybody, that those childhood, you called it the ACE, those childhood experiences, we go back, and I give them the opportunity to express their past. I call it the 3 Ps, I'm military, the 3 Ps, their past, their present, and their plans for the future. And out of those conversations, I'm gifted enough by God to be able to take that, just like you are, be able to take what I hear, turn into questions for my listeners to actually get a nice story and some impactful and powerful messages to make and learn how people, what motivates them to let's go.
I love that. So tell them how they can follow it, look for it. I mean, they need to get it. My thing is, I'm not that person that's like, oh, you got to watch me only on Tuesday or check out my replays. No, it's about building. It's kingdom mindset, number one. And it's about how can I build myself up here and here. Because if people so caught up in a look, I ain't even going to go there because that'll take another 2 hours. But you're caught up in a look, but where are you here? And where are you here? And so, but anyway, we're sharing and collabing. How can they follow you? How can they find you? How can they be a part of? Okay, Dr. Lorinda is a grief therapist, a grief counselor, and she says traumas, people need the space to address. I agree, Lorinda. I agree.
Absolutely. One of the things, you can follow me, I'm on all streams, Douglas McNeil Reed. That's on Facebook and on LinkedIn. Also Douglas Reed, Douglas M Reed on Instagram. Also the D Reed, DREED, Let's Go show on Instagram as well. And on podcast, on YouTube, you can find me at Let's Go, the number 7. But I'm like you, I'm building, I'm getting out there, but always on social media, because I push positivity, I push empowerment for, not only men, but for everybody.
Yes. Amen, amen, and amen. Will you keep us posted on some of your upcoming things? Do you have any announcements of some upcoming dates?
You know what? It's funny. Well, one, I'm gonna tell you, because I'm watching you. I'm taking notes. Like I got to work on my book. You know what I mean? Like I got, because everybody has a book, and the thing that I, just to go forward, like even a children's books. But one of the things you said something about a look. Everybody compliments me on my look. They like, oh, your beard, it looks nice. So I came out with beard products. So I got a conditioner coming out. It's
Mm.
called Sagacity Beards,
Uh-huh.
Sagacity,
Uh-huh.
which talks about wisdom, the
Okay.
ability of understanding. So
Okay.
I got a conditioner, I got a shampoo, and I got a beard butter. But
Okay.
then I have what's going on. I'm working with a gentleman, Nathan Smalls, and we're doing what we call the Black Excellence Festival, which will be June 16th through the 18th in Atlantic City, New Jersey, the
Okay.
Father's Day Juneteenth weekend. We're doing it at the Showboat Hotel. There's going to be a festival. There's going to be booths. There's going to be parties from house music to R&B to beach parties, and of course, I'm doing the men's panels. There's a praise fest, and catch this. Now, this is what I'm waiting to see. There are going to be people baptized
Oh,
in
glory.
in the Atlantic Ocean.
Oh my goodness. Now that's gonna be beautiful.
Yeah.
Y'all
So
get plenty of pictures. That's gonna be beautiful. I'm
yeah.
gonna feel that.
Yeah, we'll definitely
Woo.
put it out. That's the Black Excellence Festival, June 16th through the 18th, Atlantic City, New Jersey, at the Showboat Hotel.
All right. Wow, wow, and wow. Oh my goodness. So I want you to tell and my sister here, she has a radio show and she said I need to book him. So hey, look already. So and Dr. Rhonda has a show.
Mhm.
So we might have you booked up real soon. So but tell them one more time for those who chimed in a little late, because I do see people who have come in a little late. I can't see all the platforms unless they, you know, chat. But if you can tell them one more time how they can follow you, how they can reach out to you, because I see you being booked, sir.
On Facebook, you can follow me at Douglas McNeil Reed. Instagram, best way is Douglas underscore M Reed. LinkedIn is actually Douglas Reed. And on YouTube, it's the Let's Go Show.
All right, y'all heard it. Y'all heard it right here on Friday Inspire. Well, thank you again for taking the
Yeah.
time out to share with us tonight. We have thoroughly enjoyed you, and you are welcome back. Look, you at home, my kingdom brother. You are at home.
Don't say that
Um,
because I may travel down there because I got people down there now.
okay,
We had to do a show right there in the studio.
we got a studio right here, right in my church. We have a studio set up at Innovation Point. So all you got to say is the word, and we'll make it
I love
we
it.
will make it happen. So you congratulations on all that you're doing. I commend you for using the gifting that God is giving you and not saying, I'm just gonna sit on it. I'm good and I'm just gonna sit on it. So I commend you as you move forward. But I want you to stay backstage because there's a couple more things that God has given me to give you, but everybody else can't be privy to what He's giving you. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So have a great, great one. Thank you so much. And
Thank you.
stay back there. I'll be back in just a minute. So y'all make sure y'all go back if you missed any of this interview. Y'all want to go back and listen to the replay. It is available on YouTube, right here on Facebook on Friday Inspire Network, and it is at the LinkedIn as well. Y'all, we have to make sure that we are good, especially our men, that they're good. Just like those things that you're lacking, you're looking for, they need that same kind of love and affection. Many times they've grown up saying boys don't cry. Guess what? They need to. You need to be able to own your emotion and be okay with feeling that. You feel what you feel. Nobody can tell you what you feel. But yeah, that's a whole nother story, a whole nother show. We go into a whole nother thing. But yeah, we will be back same time, same place next week. I think next week, y'all don't hold me to it because I can't remember. But I think next week we're going to have the tribute to fathers for Father's Day. We're going to have some women just pouring into our men. So this month we're celebrating the men all month long and giving God glory for them. So y'all come back same time, same place. 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I am Aaliyah, your purpose midwife. And thank y'all so much for joining us this beautiful, beautiful Tuesday evening. You could have been anywhere else, but you chose to join us. And we're totally grateful. Have a blessed and prosperous weekend. Week and weekend. Good night, y'all.